Welcome, welcome. This is a little Pilates yoga mashup sequence that is focused on the glutes. So you don't need any equipment. We're going to get started on our back body, just finding a comfortable shape in constructive rest, which just means the feet are wide and the knees knock towards one another. And hands can rest on belly or come by your side. And let the hips get heavy, shoulders sink into the mat, eyes can close. Just taking a few focused breaths to land in your body for this practice. Deepening those inhales and slowing down those exhales. Maybe bringing special awareness to those outer hips, those glutes, inner line of thighs, all the areas we'll be targeting today. Once you've focused your mind, try to keep it focused on all the sensations, all the muscle strength, and areas you can relax throughout this practice, trying to stay as present as possible in our bodies with our breath. With that in mind, you can blink the eyes open, wiggle fingers and toes, and walk the feet hip-width distance underneath of those knees. Just see if you can tickle those backs of heels. Hands come by your side, warming up spine a little bit, so finding articulation through those pelvic tilts. On the inhale, with the hips down, can you move hip bones away from you, arch low back away from ground? Exhale, curl, tuck, and press the low back into the mat. Hip bones come closer. Inhale, hip bones away, exaggerating extension through low back. Exhale, rounding, a little bit of flexion for that posterior tilt. And just find 2 more rounds here, keeping everything else nice and steady, just rocking the pelvis with those tilts, with breath. Next time you tuck under, stay with that little imprint, press into heels, and start to lift up to your glute bridge. Take an inhale when you get to the top. Notice the knees in line with hips. You're creating this slope from knees all the way down the body to those shoulders. And on the exhale, slowly round down, touch the hips. Inhale at the bottom for that little pelvic tilt away from body. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, curl, press into heels, lift into your bridge. Find the glute activation. So that subtle squeeze of glutes, activation of those hamstrings as you get high into your bridge. Inhale at the top and then exhale, slowly come down. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, press up to bridge. Continuing to find inner line of legs turned on as well, so move with breath. Next time you come to bridge, stay and feel equal weight through both feet or both sides of feet. And so if you're pushing into pinky side edge, see if you can push into the big toe side a little bit just to activate inner line of legs. Keep those knees from collapsing out. Take a breath here. On the exhale, just lower to a hover, so don't actually touch the hips down. Inhale at the hover, exhale, press up. Moving a little bit quicker, inhale to hover the hips, keep the weight in the heels. Exhale, press up, think about thigh bones away. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press. We go for 10. Every time you come up, squeezing glutes, activating hamstrings, keeping this out of the low back and into those backs of legs and glutes. You can reach your arms to the sky if you feel stable, letting the shoulders and head stay heavy, but a little bit less support with those hands for 5, for 4, 3, 2, One, hold for a moment at the top. Maybe press into right foot, lift left leg up, just knee into a little tabletop, so knee over hip, shin parallel. And then drop the leg down, switch to the other side, press through the left foot, lift the right leg to tabletop, keeping hips high the whole time. Back and forth for 2, breathing. Switch. Feel the stabilization happening on the leg that stays on the ground. Last one on each side. Core is also engaged, keeping those hip bones nice and even, keeping those ribs from flaring open. And then slowly roll down. And then walk the feet wide as your mat, heels in, toes out. So a little bit of an angle as if you were coming to a squat, heels still close enough that you can touch them with those fingers. Inhale here. Exhale, same idea, curl tailbone, press up to bridge. Now you're in this wide-legged bridge pose. Keep the knees from collapsing in, so a little bit more activation through those outer heels. Inhale, lower, tap down. Exhale, lift and squeeze glutes, even more through outer glutes. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. When you lower, just hover away from the ground and then press to your depth without getting into lower back. We're here for 10. With breath, eyes can close for 7. Every time you come to the top, an extra squeeze to make sure you've engaged those abductors, those glutes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top for a moment. With control, let the knees come in a little bit and then press them wide. Inhale, little in, keep hips nice and high. Exhale, open wide. For 3, in. Exhale, wide for 2. Keep activation through both left and right heel. Last one, and slowly lower down. Walk the feet in. Bring the feet together, knees wide. Find a little butterfly shape for a moment, passively letting those knees fall left and right. Stretching inner line of legs and groin. Take a breath. Make sure those heels are close enough and start to press the feet together and press the outer edge of the feet into the ground so the knees lift a little bit so they're active. Now, same idea, hands by your side. We find this last little sequence of bridging. Inhale. Exhale, press into feet, curl, tuck, press up into a bridge from those butterfly legs. Inhale, lower, tap. Exhale, press and squeeze at the top. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 10. Keep the feet pressing together slightly, activating through the feet by flexing so that you're really active and not sickling through those ankles at all. Knees stay wide but slightly lifted so you can find the activation of hips and glutes to lift you. Last 5. For 3. If you want to reach your arms up for a little added balance, 2. And 1. Hold at the top, nice and lifted, arms lifted or not. You're going to just open the knees and then close them any amount. They won't actually touch. It's just like you're flapping your butterfly wings, little out, little in, for 5. Breathing soft. 3, 2, and 1. Lower hips. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Let that go. Anything that came up in the low back, rock it out. Feet to the ground, one ankle on top of one thigh. Thread the needle, bringing the figure 4 towards you. And just grabbing behind that leg just for a little gentle stretch through outer hip. And then release and come to the other side, opposite ankle to that thigh. Maybe it stays away from the body or you bring it in for a figure four, thread the needle, using biceps and even rocking hips side to side to get into the best areas of this stretch. And breathe. Anytime you lose the breath, you pause. You let it be the guide and lead for this entire practice. And then gently release. You can roll over to one side or hands behind knees, rock and roll up and down the spine, chin to chest if you're coming with me, finding a little massage on the way. And however you're making your way up, we all meet in a tabletop position. Option to cushion those knees with a blanket if you'd like. Spread your fingers underneath of those shoulders, press into the palms, knees under hips, and we find some cat-cows. Inhale, drop belly, open heart. Exhale, round and flex spine. Like the pelvic tilts we did on the back, but now even exaggerated through the entire spine, opening on the inhale. And closing it up on the exhale. Last one like that. And then find neutral spine. Move the hips side to side for a moment just so you can get out of any kinks. Maybe bring the weight forward and back over those wrists. And then land somewhere nice and neutral in the middle. We're going to get into those glutes even more. When you're ready, the left leg is going to lift. Bend the knee, flex the foot like the heel wants to kick the ceiling, and just pause and make sure you're equal through both hands and in that bottom knee, but not swaying to the right, staying through center. Gaze is down, neck is long. Inhale here. Exhale, kick that heel towards sky without opening the left hip. So keep left hip in line with right. Inhale, drop it down. Exhale, little kick to the sky. And just breathing here, using the core to keep everything nice and engaged. Inhale, we lower. Exhale, we kick up. Keep moving with breath as slow as you can so that at the top of that kick, you really squeeze the glutes. We're here for 8. Don't collapse through shoulders, a little separation of shoulder blades to keep the upper back nice and proud for 5. If you want to exhale through mouth at any time, you're welcome to for that Pilates breath through pursed lips. 3, 2, 1. Keep the leg hovered. Just bring the left knee in line with right, still hovering away from the ground. Inhale here. Exhale, open the leg to the left. Little fire hydrant lifts. Inhale, hover, maybe tap right. Exhale, lift and squeeze to the left, activating those outer hips, those abductors in the outer areas of the glutes to lift the leg, maybe to hip height. And notice if you've swayed right, make sure you're through center. And just breathe. For 8. Last 5. 2. And 1. Keep that leg hovering. Straighten it behind you. It'll feel good for a moment. Keep the hips nice and steady. Point the toes. You're going to inhale, tap the toes to the ground. Exhale, lift up to hip height. Squeeze glute and thigh. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. Little down, little up. Moving with breath. At any time, if you want to come off of those wrists and come onto forearms, you are more than welcome to. We're here for 5. Before we add on, keep swaying through center. 2, 1, hold it up, come to the forearms if you haven't already. Open the hip slightly, so let the left hip open on top of the right a little bit. And just lower the leg and lift it just for a little pulse, little up, little down, squeezing glute the whole time. We're here for 5, up and down for 4, breathing, squeezing, really trying to exhaust that left side. And 2, and 1. Listen carefully. Come to hands. Press into right hand. Shift the right leg slightly, or the lower right leg slightly behind you, and open up into a baby half moon. Good. Inhale, drop the leg down. Exhale, lift it up for 5. Lower and lift. Keep the body stacked, shoulders and hips, heart open, pressing the ground away, reaching up with opposite hand. Last one. And then maybe bend the knee, perhaps reach back for the inside of the foot, and find a little stretch here as you press foot into hand, hand into foot. Little back bend, mindful of the low back. Only go as far as feels like you can keep the control in core and glutes. And then release the foot, bring it down, left arm overhead. Find a little body stretch, up and away. And come back to all fours. Before we do the other side, let's find a downward facing dog just to shake that out. Pedal it side to side, push your hips up and back, shake your head, yes, no. Maybe you bring that left ankle on top of right thigh, push yourself back into a short dog, figure 4. And you can stay here or get fancy, walk all the way back. Start to bend the right knee. Keep the left ankle stacked on top of that right thigh. Sit nice and low and find both a stretch and a bit of a balancing posture in this figure 4. And breathe. Chest can come tall, or hands can always stay to the ground for more of a stretch, less of balance. And then we come out of it the same way we came into it, from down dog, stepping left foot down, shaking it out. Finding one flow before we do the other side. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, knees up or down, lower all the way to the belly for our first one. Inhale, press into tops of feet and pelvis, fingers wide, dome the palms, find an opening of this baby cobra. Exhale, release, press into hands and knees, and find tabletop once again. Doing the other side. Even out through your tabletop, spread your fingers, and start to lift your right leg, bend the knee, and kick the sky with that heel. Inhale, exhale, lift and squeeze glute. Inhale, little lower, exhale, little lift with breath. Warming up the right side, but noticing that the left side may already be a little tired from all the work it's done, because it still has to stabilize us here. And if the shoulders have come towards ears, just draw them down and back. We're here for 8. Donkey kicking to the sky. 5. Last 2. Squeezing on 1, lowering knee to hover in line with left. And on the exhale, open it to the side into that little fire hydrant. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Abductors getting involved. Thinking about the pelvis staying neutral, just opening the hip so your whole body doesn't roll to the side. Good. For 8. Every exhale is the opportunity to find engagement. And that's where you go into the strength work, into the depth. For 5. 2, and 1. Come through center, reach the leg back, maybe come onto forearms for a moment just to find a little release from those wrists. And lower, tap the toes down, keep hips in line, lift, exhale, squeeze the glute and thigh. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. With breath, we move slow. We find the core containment. We try not to sway through the low back for 8. Last 4. Good. Start to open your hips slightly. Maybe both forearms are down. Stack a little bit more, right on top of left. Leg is still straight. Little up, little down, just a pulse. So staying pretty much at hip height and just coming up and down to burn out this side for 8. 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep it lifted. Come to the hands. Press into left hand. Pivot that back shin or that left shin slightly behind you. Open up to your baby half moon. And just tap the toes down and then lift them. Nothing else changes in the upper body. They stay stacked. Shoulders, hips stay stacked. For 5. Maybe point through toe to activate quad. Last 3, 2, and 1. Keep it lifted. Bend the knee. Grab for the foot. Big toe side if you can. And maybe you just stay here, tucking tailbone, pressing the front of the hip and quad forward. Or get a little lift through the back bend, pressing through left hand, opening that right shoulder. And just find a stretch here, mindful of that low back, thinking about more of an upper back extension if you've gone into depth. And then release, foot comes down, press into left hand, right arm up and over, side bend. And hand comes down, and we'll just find a little reset through down dog. Shake it out. Feet can be wider than hip width. Bending knees, lifting hips. And you can always stay here, or you can take that figure 4 with the right ankle on top of left thigh. Pushing away for the stretch. Maybe walking hands back, back, back to meet left foot. Sitting low into that one-legged squat on the left side. And coming up into this figure 4 stretch on the right. Sitting a little bit lower, hands down will create more of a stretch. Hands lifted will create more of a balance challenge. Yeah. Take a breath wherever you are. And then walk it down, hands down, coming out through down dog. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Exhale, lower to the belly. Inhale, find an opening through the heart. Exhale, coming up and back, down dog. And take a breath. See if you can stay in stillness for a moment, softening those knees any amount to get hips higher, spine longer, pushing through hands, rolling shoulders away from one another, external rotation. And then we're coming back to the belly. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Super slow, exhale, lower through chaturanga, touch the belly down. And untuck the toes. Bring the hands to stack underneath of the forehead and shake your hips out. Take a breath here. Elbows are wide, but shoulders are down. You're going to bend your knees. And you're going to bring your knees a little bit wider away from each other. And heels are going to come towards each other. Inhale here. Exhale, touch the heels together. See if you can tuck tailbone, squeeze glutes, and lift the legs any amount. Maybe just
A little bit of thighs, maybe the knees. And then inhale, tap them down. Exhale, lift and squeeze. Now the secret here is to press the tailbone or the pelvis down and make sure you're squeezing glutes so that there's no real sensation in the low back. Every exhale, press heels together, squeeze glutes, lift any amount from those smile lines of glutes. We're here for 6. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift for 5. Last 3. Keep the head relaxed, neck relaxed. Maybe hold on the last one just for an extra moment. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then settle legs down, straighten them. Hands under shoulders, press up and back. And find a little child's pose. Shifting side to side. When you're ready, inhale forward, exhale up and back, downward facing dog. Last little sequence. Now that we've really found those glutes, we'll put it all together into more of a yoga sequence. Inhale, reach the right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, look forward, bring the foot in between the hands. Soften back knee, make sure you have the space between the legs to come up to a high lunge. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, soften back knee a little bit. Start to reach forward with torso, arms back, and then straighten the back leg as you bring more weight into the right heel so you're in this runner's lunge. Inhale, bend the back knee, restack shoulders over hips. Exhale, land in a high lunge. Again, inhale, soften, transition. Exhale like you're about to take flight. Reach, reach, reach the torso forward. And then inhale, soften, come back to high lunge. Exhale, land. This time we come forward into runner's lunge and we pause. All the weight's in that right heel. Left toes are barely touching. Big toe tip of that back toe. Shoulders down and back. Take an inhale. Gaze is down. On the exhale, take flight. Start to lift the back foot. Lift the back leg. Reach the arms back in space. You can always bring the hands to low back to check in with the evenness of hips. Inhale here. Exhale, bend the right knee, bend the left knee. Keep the left leg hovering as you sit low into a little squat. That left knee comes just behind the right calf. And then press into the right heel, reach up and back into warrior 3. 2 more like that. Inhale, bend, bend, squat low, stay heavy in right heel. Exhale, press up and away, warrior 3. Last one, inhale, lower. Exhale, hold for an extra moment, really burning out that right side. And then press up and back. Land the left toes, soften knee, find high lunge. And exhale, open, warrior 2. Adjust your feet. Use those abductors to open the knee a little bit behind you. Inhale, drop the back arm. Exhale, top arm up and over. And then bring hands to cartwheel. Frame the front foot, step back, downward facing dog. And let it go. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, look forward, bring the foot between the hands, soften, back knee, set up for your high lunge, and we'll meet there. Add the arms when you're ready. Inhale, start to lean forward into your runner's lunge, weight in that left heel. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, soften back knee, stack torso, land in your high lunge. Again, inhale forward, runner's lunge. Like you're getting super light off back foot, really heavy in front heel. And then up into high lunge. One more time like that. Inhale forward with torso on an angle. And then exhale, restack. This time we find runner's lunge and we hold. And we start to get even heavier through the front heel, lighter on the back toes. When you're ready, take flight, lift that right leg up. Check in with hips, make sure they're nice and steady, and then arms can reach back, palms down. Torso long, gazes down. Inhale, start to bend the knees, crouch down, single leg squat, embrace the shake. Exhale, press through that left heel back into warrior three. 2 more like that. Inhale, lower. Exhale, explode up and back. Last one. Hold on the exhale, embrace the shake, low, low, low. And then press back. Touch the back toes down, find high lunge, and open up to warrior two. Find your footing, external rotation through that front hip. Palm down behind you, top arm up and over, exalt. And then inhale, find the cartwheel. Land in your down dog. Take a breath. Maybe exhale through the mouth. Drop your knees. Sit yourself up. Bring your legs out in front of you and give yourself a little shake. Right ankle comes on top of left thigh. Flex the foot. Bend the bottom leg or the left leg. Just find a figure four seated. Slightly different than we've done so far. You can rock hips side to side. And this should send a nice stretch through the outer right hip and glute. Take a big breath. Stay for the exhale. Maybe push yourself closer to that shin, chest coming closer. Shoulders drawing down and back. One more breath. Keep the legs as they are. Just drop the right foot over to the left. Knee is high. Right hand behind you. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, find a little twist. And of course, you can always straighten the left leg if it makes it too difficult to ground the hips and the sit bones. But if you're here, find the twist. Inhaling for length. Exhaling to get out of any areas that feel stuck. And then gently untwist. Straighten legs. Left ankle comes on top of right. Find your figure four seated shape by bending bottom leg, foot to the ground. Flex the left foot so that you stay active through leg, especially ankle and knee. Maybe shift side to side, maybe press yourself up closer to that shin. Just find the sweet spot and breathe. Send the breath to that outer hip and glute. If you're super close to that shin, back away a little bit. And then drop into that little seated shape with the left knee high, foot to the ground. Right leg can be straight or bent. And find left hand behind you, right hand outside of leg. Exhale, twist out. Inhale, tall. Exhale, ring out the spine. And then gently come back through center, relax legs. Come to the middle of your mat, roll down so that you find yourself on your back body once again. You can hug knees into chest, bring them wide together, maybe a happy baby. Tuck chin towards chest, lengthen back of neck all the way down to that tailbone. Maybe relax the legs up, the arms up, give them a shake. Before coming to your version of Shavasana, I will offer feet together, knees wide. Feet can be super far from the body for less sensation or closer for more. And just notice how you feel after all that activation, especially through glutes and hips.
Let yourself lie pretty effortlessly here. Let the breath become automatic. And take some of this awareness you've cultivated with you into the rest of your day, your week. Thanking yourself for showing up. And thanks for letting me guide you. Wishing you a beautiful day ahead. Namaste.